It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Union College does not care about women's sports. That is the headline in at least one local paper this week. The Daily Gazette publishes a scathing article of the Union College administration and saying that they do not care about women's sports, but women's hockey specifically. It is Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. I am your host, Brady Farkas, taking you home for the next hour. So if you don't follow college hockey in the area, you may not know what's going on at Union in terms of the women's program. Union College women just finished a winless season. 0-28-6. First ever Division I women's team to have a winless season. No men's team has gone winless since 1980-1981. The head coach at Union is Claudia Asano-Barkham. She is 236 in 9 seasons at the helm of the Union College athletic program. And the story written by Mark McGuire in the Daily Gazette basically lays out this argument. Well, Asano-Barkham's been there 9 years now. She's got 36 total wins. So, 1, she's not a good coach. That's what the article will state. 1, she's not a good coach. 2, the administration is showing its lack of caring about Union College women's hockey by A, retaining her and bringing her back year after year and just sweeping these lack of wins under the rug. Remember, this is a Division I sport. This is a Division I sport where you are expected to win. Union is Division III in everything except men and women's ice hockey. So Union is failing, the article states, in bringing back Claudia Asano-Barkham year after year and ignoring this issue. And look, I will spell out both sides of this. Claudia Asano-Barkham is under contract through 2017. Whether you think she's a great coach or not, she's under contract through 2017. So you can look at it and say, hey, Union College, they're honoring her contract, and we'll see what happens after next season. Hey, and that's totally entirely possible. Maybe Claudia Asano-Barkham will be gone after next season, and the administration will look for a new coach and send the program in a different direction. Maybe. She's under contract through 2017. If you look at it on the other side, Division I sports, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to be competitive. The men's team just won a national championship 2 seasons ago. Where's the women's team? I caution you on a couple of different things. Ask the questions. Ask the following questions to yourself and wonder this. Is Claudia Asano-Barkham a bad coach because she's just a bad coach, and then the administration turns a blind eye to that? Or does Claudia Asano-Barkham not have the resources necessary to put out a good program? In which case the administration... So either way, the administration is at fault in both of those scenarios. But wonder, is it Claudia Asano-Barkham's fault because she's bad, or does she not have the resources? Ask the questions. Compare it. 1, first off, is it easy to get women into Union College? How many women go there? Are you up against it from a recruiting standpoint right away, in that it's harder for, there's less women attending school there? Well, I did the research. 47% of Union College is women. So it's not like it's 90% men and 10% women, and therefore you can't get good athletes because you're such a split. That's not the case. 2, what are the facilities like? Do they have good facilities that you can recruit good athletes to? Well, we know that Messy Rink is a good rink, so that's not the case. The biggest issue that you need to ask yourself, what's the recruiting budget like? What is the recruiting budget like? Does the men's team get $5 million to go recruit all over the world, and the women's team get $500? Ask yourself, and we don't know the answer to that. So before you're ready to just rake Claudia Asano-Barkham under the coals for her 36, 236, and 32 overall record, ask yourself the question, does she have the resources? The administration doesn't look good either way. They either bring back a bad coach who has a lot of resources, or they're not giving a potentially good coach enough resources. What's the financial aid like at the school? Can you get international students in? Can you get Canadian students in? Can you get students from Russia, from Sweden, where they play hockey, and they play hockey very, very well. All of those are questions that you need to ask yourself. Bottom line is this: Union College has not won enough, and it needs to be addressed on some level, whether that is you wait and see what happens next year with the team, and then Claudia Asano-Barkov is not brought back after her contract is done. That's one way to look at it. Or two, the administration needs to go out and continue to give the resources necessary to make the program competitive. I don't think it's fair to say that Union College does not care about women's sports as a whole. The soccer team was over 500 this year on the women's side. Softball had 22 wins 2 years ago. Women's teams have been successful at Union. What are the resources like for the Division I women's ice hockey team? That's the question you need to ask. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. We know that Siena men's basketball, they've got plenty of resources, and they have been plenty successful this season. Saints, though, have lost 2 consecutive games, 2 tough ones, losing at home against Iona and then on the road against Fairfield. And now we head out to the phone lines where we find ourselves Tom Herder, the men's basketball broadcaster at Siena. Tom, 2 consecutive tough losses. Can this team still win a MAC championship with the MAC tournament on its home floor? Can they still win it?
Yes, I believe they can. I think they've gone through a couple tough games where they really just haven't gotten off to a good start. That has put them in a hole. They've shown some life to be able to come back, especially the Iona game in the second half. But, winning on the road at Fairfield was not an easy task. Fairfield's playing really good basketball right now. So I don't think, a red flag needs to be thrown up. So I do think this team is still capable of winning the MAC championship, especially, let's be honest, especially on their home court.
Now, I asked Jimmy Patsos this 2 weeks ago, and I'm wondering your take on it now. Look, the team played so well in Marquise Wright's absence, especially Nico Clarith. Now that Marquise Wright is back, is the team struggling to kind of find its way with him back in the lineup?
A little bit. I think they've got to figure that out. But, here's the thing. Marquise Wright is one of their best basketball players. So they just need to, the team did a great job of fighting while he was out, making up for that production. So they will be better once they just get him inserted back in the lineup and the guys get comfortable again. And that might take a few games, and luckily they'll have 4 games under their belt before the MAC tournament, which I think is big. The team, I think, is a good team without Marquise, but I think they have the potential to be a great team with him. So hopefully they'll figure it out, and I do think they're a better basketball team with him in the lineup.
Siena Saints men's basketball broadcaster Tom Herder with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. Tom, I feel like every time I look at the box score, Brett Bisping, 24-18, 20-16. This guy's a double-double machine, huh?
He is. His approach has been amazing. He just plays so hard. He's a system kid. He's been, one of the hardest working guys, and the numbers he is putting up is staggering. I mean, you to your point, there's not a lot of guys that have done that the past 10 years at this level. So what he's been doing is he'll definitely be first team All MAC. And if it weren't for probably A.J. English or Justin Robinson, he'd be a serious contender for MAC Player of the Year.
Tom Herder, Siena men's basketball broadcaster with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. Tom, Nico Clarith, the freshman, he's had a huge role this year. He's had back-to-back bad games, but how good is he? He's a guy we're going to be talking about for the next 3 years, huh?
Yeah, he's a very talented player. That's life as a freshman. You're going to have games where you don't shoot well. You may not play as much. His role is to, really be an energy guy and fill in the gaps of the leaders of the team, which are the Bispings and the Wrights and the Ogunyemis. So, Nico's done a great job. He's got a lot of confidence, and and as a coach, Jimmy doesn't want to, kind of squelch that. So you have to kind of foster that. Nico's going to make mistakes. He's going to have some bad games, but boy, when he plays well, he could really carry a team. He's a very talented player at both ends. I've said so many times on the broadcast, he is equally good defensively as he is offensively, and you don't find that a lot nowadays. So he's a true talent for Siena, and hopefully he's around for 4 years.
Tom, you mentioned earlier in the year that you're stepping aside from the broadcast booth after this season to enjoy your sons, and one of your sons, Tom Herter Jr., is going to Siena next year. So step out of the broadcast booth and be dad. What can Tom Jr. bring to the team next year?
Well, I think he's going to kind of bring a lot of different facets of the game. I think he plays the game the right way. He's not going to force shots or take bad shots. He's not going to be consumed with scoring. I think he understands the value of defense and rebounding and making the extra pass. So I think he's going to enjoy a nice career. I think he's kind of a glue guy in that he'll do a lot of things well. And, I think if he works hard, he can have, a great career at Siena and enjoy all the benefits of being a local kid at Siena College, playing in front of great fans and playing against great competition every season. Every year he'll play against the likes of Wisconsin and Duke. And, a lot of the schools he was looking at, he wouldn't have had that opportunity. So he's fortunate to have the opportunity to go to Siena. He's looking forward to it. And, I think he'll be a guy that can contribute. And, how much is up to him and how hard he wants to work. But I think he's got a great opportunity ahead, and he's looking forward to it.
Tom Herter with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Saints home tomorrow, regular season finale against Quinnipiac. It is senior night, 2 p.m. at the Times Union Center. Tom, it's your last regular season broadcast. You said you're stepping aside after this season out of the broadcast booth. So you've got this one and then hopefully a few more in the MAC tournament. I'm sure you're not ready to see it end just yet.
No, I still enjoy it. I did the Fairfield game the other night with Robert. Actually drove down to Connecticut, watched Thomas play at Choate in a prep school game, and then we went on to Fairfield to do the game. And been doing that for a long time, and I really enjoy doing the games. I really enjoy doing the games with Robert Lee. He's great to work with. We've become very good friends, so it will be missed. And, I've been lucky to be able to do it for 20 years. I can't believe it's that long. But, so Sunday, another senior day that I'll get to witness, and it should be fun. And it's a big game for Siena, so that's the most important thing. It's a big game for Siena. They need the win, and if they can win, they get that third spot, and I think they set themselves up well for the MAC tournament.
Tom Herter, Saints broadcaster with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Saints close out the regular season tomorrow afternoon, Times Union Center, 2 o'clock against Quinnipiac. Tom, you're also the father of Kevin Herter, the Shen Star. They're headed to the Class AA final, and he's going to join us later in the show at 9:45. So Kevin Herter with us, 9:45. Tom, thanks for being with us. Enjoy tomorrow. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Brady. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. There he goes. Tom Herter, Siena Saints men's basketball broadcaster with us. Saints looking to close out the regular season with a win. They get that 3 seed if they can beat Quinnipiac. So it would be certainly a big win for the Saints if they can get at 2 p.m. at the Times Union Center. High school hoops sectional finals last night. 3 sectional champions crowned, and, the Class C game, don't call it an upset. Spa Catholic, the 10 seed, they beat Lake George. They get the win. And for Spa Catholic, they win that game by a score of 59-42. That was the early game at the Glens Falls Civic Center. And the key for Spa Catholic was the second and third quarters. They outscored Lake George 30-12 in those 2 quarters. They get 18 points from Connor Farrington, 14 from Tyler Harridan, and 11 from Evan Pischetti. They hold Lake George to just 1 player in double figures. And after the game, head coach Ken Mantia talking about his team's win as the 10 seed in the Class C final.
Just very resilient. It really shows if you keep a positive attitude and a good work ethic, anything can happen. We went into the gym after we were 0-4, and you'd think we were 4-0. That's the type of kids we have. And, to play a team like Lake George, they've lost 2 sectional games in 4 years, and somehow, I don't know how, we did it.
Yeah, Saratoga Central Catholic 0-4 to start the season. A resilient group. They beat Maple Hill in their opener in Class C. And for Lake George, what a run they had. Remember, won the state title last year with Joel Winkowski shooting from all over the court at the Civic Center. So Spa Catholic, your Class C champions. We'll get to the Class A champions at 9:45. But, actually, first we're going to get to the Class B champions at 9:20. But next, a former Section 2 athlete who won a sectional title of his own. He's getting hosed, and we'll talk about it next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
This team is down. We're yelling Jamal. Our guards don't move. He gets no chance. His career, you won't remember. He'll be the one that time forgets. Again, they're down. We're chasing Jimmer. This guy can shoot. Give him a chance.
That's Rick DiPietro of Hahn and Humpty. Heard weekdays here 1 to 3 on 104.5 The Team. And he said it right. Just give him a chance. Jimmer Fredette not getting that chance with the New York Knicks. Knicks win last night. They beat the Orlando Magic. They do it 108-95. So a 13-point win for the Knicks, a game that they were up nearly 20 points at one point. And look, everybody's getting in on the action except for Jimmer, it seems.
Grant drives baseline left side, kicks it all the way back up top. Williams with a spin move in the lane and puts it in.
Derek Williams, he got a chance.
Calderon looks to push. Here's Anthony again in front of the Knicks bench. Vucevic watching him. Anthony drives baseline. Off for Aflalo. Pump fake. Now the jumper from 18 is good.
Aaron Aflalo got a chance to shoot.
Anthony kicks it inside to Porzingis, who slams it down with 0.2 of a second remaining in the third quarter.
Kristaps Porzingis got a chance. And look, the Knicks are a team, they're not good, remember. They're near the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They've lost 14 of their last 16 games or so, and they fired their coach in Derek Fisher. This Knicks team is in disarray, okay? This Knicks team is in disarray, and Kurt Rambis, who's at the helm of the Knicks right now, he doesn't want to give Jimmer a chance, and I don't know why. I mean, this is a team that going into last night was 24-35. They're 17 and a half games out now of first place in the Eastern Conference. They're 6.5 out of even the 8 seed in the playoffs. This Knicks team, if you bring up Jimmer Fredette from the D-League, remember, so they bring him up on a 10-day contract, and they say, okay, you've got 10 days to show us what you can do. That's 5 games in this 10-day stretch, and Jimmer played 1 minute and 49 seconds in his first game against Toronto. He hit his only shot that he took, and then he didn't play a minute against Indiana, but I was okay with that because it was a close game that came down to the wire, except for the fact that the Knicks are down 3 with 2 seconds left, and they leave one of the best three-point shooters on their roster on the bench. They don't even run Jimmer out as a decoy or as a possibility or as an if it comes to this option. He wasn't out there. Yesterday, they're up nearly 20 points, and the end lineup for the Knicks, it includes 2/5 of their starting lineup, and the 3/5 that were reserves, none of them are Jimmer. And again, call me a homer, call me an apologist. I don't think Jimmer Fredette is Kobe Bryant. I don't think he's Tracy McGrady. I don't think he's Vince Carter. I think he's a guy who can help a team if he plays for 7 minutes a night. And at the very least, when you give a guy a 10-day contract, give him the opportunity and a reasonable sample size, because it gives you one of two things. If he plays great, then great. You've got a piece that can help you for the rest of the season, and maybe it helps you going forward as you rebuild your organization. If you play Jimmer for 7, 10, 12 minutes a night and he plays terrible, you say, well, you know what? We gave him a shot, because now you won't have people like me coming up saying he deserves a shot. You have no other options on your bench to help your team win. Go to this guy and see what he can do. At least quell that debate. At the very least, if Jimmer goes out and plays 7 minutes, 9 minutes, 12 minutes, 14 minutes, and goes 1 for 7 with 4 turnovers and he gets burned on defense, then the people like me, we have no defense. Go out, put him in the game. I am done with Kurt Rambis already. Kurt Rambis has been coaching the Knicks for 10 games or so. I am done with Kurt Rambis. He needs to give Jimmer a chance, but more importantly, even besides Jimmer, he just needs to understand the direction of the organization. This team's 6.5 out of the 8th playoff spot. Even if they were to overtake, I mean, look, they have to overtake Orlando, Washington, Detroit, and Chicago to even get to that 8th spot. I got news for you. Chicago's in the 8th spot right now. They're a game and a half ahead of Detroit. For all the injuries the Bulls have had, the Bulls are a good team. Okay, did you watch them last night? Pau Gasol, Taj Gibson. They've got Jimmy Butler, who's injured right now. Derrick Rose is battling injury. I mean, this is a team that has real pieces. The Knicks, they're not going to be able to, number one, they're not going to leapfrog all these teams in front of them, but they're really not going to be able to overtake Chicago, who's in that 8th spot. They're not going to be able to overtake Washington, who, even though they're 3 games under 500, they have John Wall. Okay, they have Jared Dudley. They have Bradley Beal. They have real players. They have better players than the Knicks do. The Knicks 25-35. Kurt Rambis needs to recognize that. Give Jimmer a shot. See what he can do. He's got 2 games left on this 10-day contract, and I was talking to producer Dubsy, who works with us weekdays here on the afternoon show on Levac, and he said, look, we're going to know a lot about what the Knicks think about Jimmer after this 10-day contract ends, because if they tender him another 10-day contract, it will show that, they have some faith in him at the very least. But also, remember, you can only sign 2 10-day contracts through the course of the season, and then you have to become a full-fledged member of the team for the rest of the year. So we'll see what happens after Jimmer gets this full 10-day contract done. But right now, it's not off to a good start. 2 out of 3 games, he has not even gotten off the bench. And I'm done with Kurt Rambis. So it's 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number 1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Again, high school hoops last night. Class B final, Hudson and Glens Falls. Hudson gets the win, 82-78. Glens Falls on their home floor or in their home area at the Civic Center can't get it done. They led that game 78-75 at one point and just could not close the deal. They had a chance to tie it late when it was 80-78. And for Hudson, it's their first title since 1974. So they're your Class B champions. After the game, head coach Sean Briscoe talking with Capital News 9.
First time in 42 years, it's having went to Hudson, grown up in Hudson, now being able to coach here, it means a lot to bring this back to this city, and especially having, know some of the guys that were on the 74 team, being able to do this as our city rallied around us. When that final buzzer sounded, it was a great feeling.
So we're talking about Jimmer, the Glens Falls native, and the kid to keep your eyes on over the next 3 years is Joe Girard III. Even though Glens Falls loses last night, this kid, the freshman, 39 points. He had half of his team's points. He was 8th rate at the foul line. He had 7 3-pointers. I mean, this is a kid who's over 1,000 points by his freshman season. He finishes the year. I'd have to really add it up since he got his thousands, but he's right around 1,200 points through 2 seasons. So he played varsity as an 8th grader, played varsity as a 9th grader. 1,200 points. I mean, that's a full career for some of your best players in Section 2. And if he's on this pace, so he gets to 2,400 points by the end of his junior year, and then he gets another 600 by the end of his senior year, that's 3,000. And it's hard to say, look, this kid who averaged 32.5 points a game, hey, go out and average 36. Go out and average 37. But if he improves, I would say that's not out of the realm of possibility. If he does that, he's going to be, if he gets to 3,000, he's going to break the all-time New York State scoring record, which is held by Lance Stevenson, who is in the NBA right now playing with the Memphis Grizzlies. So 3,000 points is certainly not out of the question. Jimmer scored 2,400. He's going to break that as long as he stays healthy, as long as he stays in Glens Falls. The all-time Section 2 scoring record is 2,600 by Joel Winkowski of Lake George, who graduated this past year. So it's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. The boys over at MLB.com came out with their top 30 prospect list this week for every team, and they came out this week with the Tampa Bay Rays system. The top 30 prospect in the Rays system have a distinct Capital Region flair. Garrett Whitley of Niskayuna, the number 1 pick in the draft last year for the Rays, number 13 overall. He is the number 4 prospect in the Tampa Bay Rays system. Number 4, the kid, first-round draft pick last year out of Niskayuna, and they say his estimated time of arrival, his ETA in Tampa is 2019. So you're talking about we got to play the 2016 season, then we got to play 17, 18. So 3 more years. He's saying Whitley's going to be 22 years old by the time he's ready to make it in the majors. And what they say on Whitley is they love his speed. They say that it's his best tool, grades as a legitimate plus, made big adjustments to his swing, and he's explosive. He's got strength, and they say they love his eye. He walked at 12.8% of his plate appearances a year ago, but we're not done Capital Region rankings on those Rays. Jamie Schultz of Maple Hill ranked number 19. I mean, this is the kid who led the Southern League, which is Double-A, in strikeouts a year ago. 168 strikeouts in 135 innings. Boris Schultz, the Maple Hill graduate, he's a kid who could be in the majors this year. If it's not this year, it's going to be next year. He's a kid who they're working as a starter, but because he's got some control issues, so many strikeouts, but also a lot of walks, maybe he ultimately projects as more of a reliever, but they project him in the majors next season, but it could be this year as well. So it's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, where at Mohawk Honda, they always try to be number one by striving for perfection every day. They do the little things right for their family of customers, and it really is a family. They have over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available to select from, open extended hours in all of their departments to better service you. You can shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities or just go online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com. And don't worry, they will always provide you the lowest, no-hassle prices to better suit your budget. At Mohawk Honda, they have over 180 trained automotive experts going above and beyond to make sure all of your needs are met. Their Mohawk Exchange specialists can assist you in upgrading your current vehicle to a newer one with no money down for the same or lower payment. Just ask Tiffany, Katie, V-Day to see just how easy it is to exchange your vehicle for the same or lower payment. Shop the convenient Route 50 in Glenville location to find out the number one automotive family at Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. Peter Hooley, he hit the big shot last year against Stony Brook, sent Albany to the NCAA tournament. Dames are trying to get back there. Tonight is senior night. We're sending Peter Hooley and 3 others away. What are Hooley's emotions going to be when he hits Sefke Arena for the last time in the regular season? He joins us and answers next.
Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Yes, we are back on the phone right now. Albany men's basketball standout Peter Hooley. Peter, tonight, senior night, you guys close out the regular season against Hartford, 7 p.m. over at Sefke Arena. Peter, you've been to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. It's been a long 4 years in Albany, huh?
It has been. It feels like only yesterday I was here, but looking back on some photos of some people who have been tagging me in, I've come a long way in a lot of respects.
Have you thought about what your emotions are going to be like when you hit the Sefke Arena floor before the game, for the ceremony, for the last time in the regular season?
Not really. I mean, I've tried to just figure it as another game, and we're trying to get ready for the conference tournament. But obviously, I've spent a quarter of my life here and had more success than I could ever have dreamt of on and off the court. So I've got a lot to be thankful for and a lot of people to thank, and I'm sure it'll be a real special night, and I'm glad my family can be here for it as well.
Albany men's basketball player Peter Hooley with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Peter, did I hear you say your family is coming in all the way from Australia tonight?
They've been here since the Stony Brook game. They wanted to come see that one, my 2 older sisters and my dad, so they'll be walking me out, so it'll be pretty special.
Peter, you guys are undefeated at home this season. Your winning streak at Sefke Arena is over 20 now, dating back to last season. What makes you so good at home?
We've got to give a lot of credit to the fans. I think they've done a terrific job of supporting us this year, and we've managed to give them a reason to support us, which is great. But we just love to play at home. We feed off their energy, and we get them going as well. And obviously, it's an arena you practice in and stuff like that, which also helps. So, we love to play in front of our fans. And when they come out like they have the last few weeks, it's awesome to play in. There's no other arena in the world I'd rather play in.
When you guys wrapped up the number 2 seed the other day with a win at UMass Lowell, how important was that for you guys to get that 2 seed? You assure yourself if you keep winning at least 2 home games in the tournament.
It's huge. I think we've proven in the past that nobody really wants to come in here and play us, and obviously we enjoy playing here. But since Snow, we could have possibly 2 games here, and then who knows what could happen on the other side of the bracket if something flipped up down that end for Stony Brook, and the championship game will be here as well. So the way we see it, we've got to make sure we take care of business night in and night out, and next game up, and we're ready to go.
You mentioned that your family's been in since the Stony Brook game. That was a big game. You guys were able to get the win at Sefke Arena. What is it about Stony Brook and you guys? They can't beat you at home. What's that about?
I think it's a lot of credit goes to the coaching staff. They give us a great game plan to make sure that we execute it against a tough team. I think they've been a standout team in the league all year, but coaches tell us what we have to do to be successful, and we managed to play 40 minutes of really good basketball and get the job done. And obviously, you see our fans come out in droves for that game. They know about the rivalry. They know about how fun it is to play in and to watch that game, and we're glad we could give them something to cheer about.
Albany men's basketball star Peter Hooley with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Peter, I think we all knew going into the year that you guys had good guard play. Evan Singletary, Ray Sanders, yourself. We knew Joe Cremo would help a little bit, although maybe not to the extent that he has helped out. But front court play for you guys lately has been huge. Greg Steyer goes for 16 and 15 the other night. Mike Rowley's had some double-doubles in there. If you guys get that kind of front court play, you're going to be real tough to beat, huh?
Yeah, I think, a lot of credit has to go to Mike and Greg. I think they've been tremendous for us. And there's no two other bigs in the league I can say that I'd rather play against, just because they do a lot of stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, which helps us guards tremendously. And, Greg had 8 offensive rebounds or something the other night, and Mike had 6. And, that's stuff you really can't teach. That's just real effort and energy and determination. And literally they're going to be 2 massive players moving forward for this program, and I think they're just showing glimpses of what they can do now, which is awesome.
Peter, it's been kind of a disjointed year for you performance-wise. At the beginning of the year, you weren't shooting well. Then you were still doing the little things to help the team win. Now you're shooting a lot better. Has it been frustrating? Has it been a grind for you?
Probably that. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to succeed early on. I think knowing it was going to be my last year, I wanted to have as much success possible and to give back to everybody with what I've been given. And I think I put way too much pressure on myself and took away from the enjoyment I used to have playing basketball. And then it wasn't until probably halfway through the year where I started to get that enjoyment back and just to let things flow. And obviously everything else took care of itself once I started to do that. So I'm at a level where I'm enjoying playing and loving playing the game, and everything else seems to take care of itself now.
Peter Hooley with us on Capital Region Sports Saturday. So, Peter, our producer, Gaz, who works during the week, he likes to play a game called Defend Your Tweet. And you said on Twitter after the Big Purple Growl win against Vermont that was the best crowd you've ever seen at Sefco Arena. Do you want to amend that after the Stony Brook game?
I might have to. I think they managed to top it, but I definitely think those last 2 games have been unreal. And just to hear all the noise, there was one particular moment in the Vermont game on the free throw that Ethan O'Day had that the crowd was just deafening, and that was really just awesome to see the support. And I think a lot of credit goes to our football team for starting that in the student section, and then everyone else really fed off of that. But yeah, it's fun to know that as my career winds down that something special starting up here in terms of the crowd support and everyone getting behind the Great Danes, which is awesome.
Was it fun for you to see Albany honor the 2005-2006 championship team? Obviously, you were not here when that team was winning the first America East title in school history. I was in high school at the time. I was a fan of that team myself. Was it cool for you to see those guys in person? Yeah,
it definitely was. I think I've seen a lot of these guys. I have a pretty good relationship with a few of them, which is good because you get to keep that connection with the history of the program. And I've been in a lucky enough situation. Jamar wasn't here, but I know Jamar pretty well. But these guys really were the trailblazers for what this program has become. And you see them all when they come together. They act like they're still in college and stuff like that. So you hope maybe 10 years down the track I'll be able to meet up with some of the guys who I've had success with here, and we'll be able to keep the same traditions going.
Peter Hooley with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday. So tonight's senior night. No matter what happens at the end of this season, we already know you've graduated your undergrad. You gave the speech last year at commencement. What are the plans for Peter Hooley? I heard some rumors you were trying to play overseas. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think that's my plan. I think it's time to try and make a little bit of money running up and down the court. So we'll see what happens there and see how long that lasts or where I go. But I feel like I owe it to myself to just try it. I think I've put in many hours and stuff playing basketball since a young age, and who knows how long it'll last, how well it'll go. But just to say I tried to experience it, and then we'll see what happens from there. But if I start back in Australia or Europe, I'm not sure yet. But trying to win one more conference championship before that's up.
Peter Hooley with us, Albany men's basketball standout. Danes taking on Hartford tonight. It is senior night. We're saying goodbye to 4 players, including yourself, Peter. And, hey, we know we got a couple more games left at least to watch you play, and we hope to see you continue on into March. Best of luck, and thanks for all you've done for Albany and for the Capital Region.
Appreciate it. Thanks, fellas.
Absolutely. There he goes, Peter Hooley, Albany basketball star with us on Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. The Danes home tonight against Hartford. And it'll be their last time to see Peter Hooley, Reese Williams, Ray Sanders, and Evan Singletary. So we hope the Danes can get that win. It's not all high school hoops. It's not all college hoops here at 104.5 The Team. Wrestling going on today. We've got the state tournament over at the Times Junior Center. Packed house over at the TU. We've got a number of Section 2 athletes still competing today for state championships, for an opportunity to place in the top 8. So that's over at the TU Center. High school hockey sectional finals this week as well. Saratoga wins their second consecutive Section 2 crown. So the Blue Streaks, they've had a 6-year run or so here of just utter dominance. I believe it's 5 out of 6 for the Blue Streak hockey program. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Kevin Herter of the Shenendehowa basketball program. Plainsmen, they'll take on Green Tech on Tuesday night. And then after we get off the phone with Herter, we're going to dive right into Green Tech. Next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Yes, we're back at the father-son affair on Capital Region Sports Saturday. Earlier in the show, we had Siena Saints men's basketball broadcaster Tom Herter. Now we go to the phone lines where we've got Kevin Herter, his son, the star of the Shenendehowa basketball team, Maryland bound after this season ends. But first off, some unfinished business for the Plainsmen. Kevin, you guys beat CBA the other night to advance to the Class AA final, where you will take on Green Tech on Tuesday. How'd you get it done against the brothers?
We had a good game. Like you said, we played good defense. We trusted the game plan that Coach D had set forth for us. And, we didn't hit shots early. Luckily, Luke Hicks stepped up in the first half. He made shots for us. In the second half, we got other guys to get it going for us and continue to play good defense.
You guys are averaging like 10 three-pointers a game. I mean, you're the Golden State Warriors of high school basketball. How fun is it for you guys to play this up-and-down tempo style?
It's a lot of fun. I think a lot of people know we like to play a 4-out, 1-in offense. We at all times we have 4 guys on the court who can shoot. And we have a lot of guys who are really unselfish, on the court, and we trust that everybody who's out there as a guard can make shots, and we like to move the ball. And we know that when multiple guys hit shots and can shoot on the court, it makes us hard to stop for any defense. And, we like to keep the ball moving and get multiple guys involved.
You guys are taking on Green Tech in the Class AA final on Tuesday night. That's the matchup of the last 2 state championship winners. What do you guys expect from the Eagles?
No, they're going to be a handful. As you know, they like to press you, turn you over. They get after it on the offensive and defensive glass. They have a lot of options, just like we do offensively. And they're a great team. I think this could have been a sectional championship matchup. That could have been last year. It wasn't, so I'm glad we got him this year. My freshman and sophomore year, I think they knocked us out both of those years, so it'll be good to possibly get some revenge on them. But it'll be a great game and a great atmosphere, and they're a great team. We're looking forward to it.
Kevin Herter with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Kevin, you guys undefeated this year. You go unbeaten last year all the way through. You win the state championship. Your only lost game in the Federation. Did it ever feel like there was pressure on you guys this year?
No. Every practice we came in looking to work hard, and we knew going into this year, based on the season we had last year, that, like you said, we're going to have everyone's, we're going to get everyone's best shot. We had the target on our back to start the year, and, it just comes from preparation and practice and not taking a day off and taking every game one game at a time and not looking ahead of teams. Like you said, we had a lot of guys who, stayed humble and kept working hard in practice, and it translated to the game.
So you're going to Maryland. Your coaching staff actually came out to the Civic Center and watched you play in the Class AA semifinal. How many Maryland games did you watch this season around your own busy schedule?
Almost every one. We usually, if we couldn't get there to see the start of it, we'd record it and come home and tell all our friends and not tell us any scores, but pretty much every single one we've seen.
I know you went down there for at least one game this year in person. What was that experience like?
It was great. We went down there a couple weeks ago after the Niskayuna game. We saw them play Purdue. I got to see a shoot around. Got to shoot a little bit in the arena before the game, which was cool. And, the atmosphere there was insane. The student section is really cool. They make a nice big wall behind the basket, and it gets really loud. I think the game I was there was sold out. So it was a really cool atmosphere, one that I think anyone would love to play in, and I'm looking forward to playing in it next year.
I had Coach Clark on the show a couple weeks ago, and he said he expects you to come in and contribute right away. Is that one of the things that sold you on going to Maryland, a chance to come in and play right away?
Definitely. like they said, the minutes could be there if you work hard. That's what I'm going to be looking to do going this summer is try to earn my minutes. And, depending on what other guys do, they have a couple seniors that will be leaving. And, they're looking for me to come in and fill some roles that they're going to need. And, just going to try to go in there and work hard and see what it's like.
Kevin Herter with us on Capital Region Sports Saturday. Shen will take on Green Tech on Tuesday night in the Class AA final. Kevin, you've got your parents. They drive all around the Capital Region to watch you play. Your dad's going with Sienna for every game. They're going to watch your brother play prep school ball in Connecticut. Kevin, you better make the NBA to reimburse all the gas mileage on your parents' cars.
That's funny. But, like you said, my parents love doing it. Luckily, it's not me running around to get to everything. But, they love doing it. They love seeing their kids succeed. And, they make every single possible sporting event that they can for all of us. It's great to have their support.
Kevin Herter with us, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. The Shen Star helping lead the Plainsmen to the Class AA final, 26 points last night. Shen will play on Tuesday night against Green Tech in the AA final. Kevin, best of luck. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Brady.
Absolutely. Kevin Herter, there he goes. Actually, that 26 points was Thursday night. So the sectional finals and semis all running together here. We've got 10 minutes left. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Brady Farkas taking you home here, 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. More high school hoops last night. Class A final, Troy and Lansingburg and the Flying Horses get it done. They win the Class A title 64-49 over the Knights. And isn't it ironic that we have to go all the way to Glens Falls to get a game between Troy and Lansingburg? So the fans had a ways to go, but they retreated to a good one. Daniel Bowie, 22 points for the Flying Horses, had 4 threes. Jack McLaren, he had 20. Devontae Jones had 21 for Lansingburg. And for Troy, it's poetic because it was in that building 2 years ago that they lost just an absolute heartbreaker, double overtime to Scotia, and that was the junior year of Joe Cremo. And Scotia won the state title, but they needed double overtime to escape Troy, and there was controversy at the end of that game. We talked to Rich Hurley about it earlier this week, and he said still some confusion as to whether or not there was a foul down there at the end of the game, but he said we won't go there, and all is forgiven now as Troy is your Class A champion. Rich Hurley after the game with News Channel 9.
I'm very happy for them. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, this time for sectional is just time for the players. We put the work in the offseason as coaches and as players, but now it's their time to shine and to give them a great opportunity here today. And that we talked about that third quarter push. We wanted to start the half well. We didn't do it against Amsterdam, and then those guys came out and they responded, and I thought that was the key part of the game.
It was the key part of the game because Troy outscored Lansingburg 24-14, so a plus 10 differential in that third quarter. Lansingburg actually led after the first quarter, but Troy also was plus 12 in the second quarter. So much like in that Spa Catholic Lake George game, the second and third quarters were the big ones as Troy was plus 22 in those in that second and third quarter. So they are your Class A champions. So we just got off the phone with Kevin Herter, and Herter plays for Shen. They're going to take on Green Tech in the Class AA final. And look, Green Tech has a lot of controversy about it. Not about the school, not about the kids, not about that, but whether or not they should be able to play for the Section 2 Class AA title. Green Tech is an independent. They are a public school, so it's a public charter school. They're an independent, though. They are not in a league. They do not play in a suburban council. They do not play in a colonial council, in a Wasseron league, in a WAC. They don't do that. Independent. They're able to beef up their schedule. They can play whoever they want. They played 6 teams from the Suburban Council this year. They played some Class A teams, so they didn't go outside of Section 2 as much as they have. But if they're not in a league, it doesn't feel right that they can go win the Section 2 Class AA title. Now, they are in Section 2. They're a member of Section 2, so I get that. They are paying league dues and all that. So, yes, they are legally able to play for the Section 2 title, but it just doesn't feel right to me that a team not in a league can go and win a Section 2 title. And remember, Green Tech is a charter school. It is free to go to. They take a lot of kids from Albany. So now you are going to go, and you have kids that could be playing at Albany High, that could be playing at other places, that are now going to be subjected to lose to Green Tech in the Class AA playoffs. And look, I get it because I know the devil's advocate is Brady. That's what CBA does. That's what LaSalle does. They are private schools and can win the Section 2 Class AA. They can win the public high school state championship, and I'm on record. I am not for that either. I have nothing against CBA, nothing against LaSalle, nothing against Bishop McGinn, Bishop Gibbons, Holy Names, all these private schools. I have nothing against those schools. They're all great schools, and they provide great athletic and educational opportunities for student athletes. But it doesn't seem right to me that you can play at a private school and have the New York State Public High School Championship banner hanging in your gym. Okay, I'm all for those schools having a playoff tournament. I would just like to see them play in their own tournament. Have them play in their own tournament. Have the Section 2 tournament, the public high school tournament, have a Section 2 private high school tournament, and then let them meet together and play the same way we get the Federation Championship after the state tournament. Again, nothing against the private schools of the area. Just don't want to see them be able to win the public high school championship because you're able to take kids, or have kids willingly leave. Better way to put it, have kids leave those public schools, go to these private schools, and then be beaten with them. So that's my 2 cents on that. Green Tech, though, they do pay to be a part of Section 2. They don't play in a league, so it's a bit iffy as to what people's perception is there. But nonetheless, the Eagles will play Shen on Tuesday night in at the Times Union Center for the Class AA Championship. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. We started off the show talking about Union College women's hockey. Remember, Claudia Asano-Barkham, 36, 236, and 32 overall in her time at Union. And it begs the question to one Daily Gazette columnist, Mark McGuire, the sports editor over there. He said that it gives the appearance that Union College does not care about women's sports. I caution you against saying that. Union College, their women's teams have been successful. Their soccer team was over 500 this year. Their softball team had 22 wins 2 years ago. What I wonder about is the administration's commitment to the women's hockey program specifically. Because if Claudia Asano-Barkham is a bad coach, then Union College just brings back a bad coach year after year. She's been there 9 years now. If Union College doesn't give the resources to the women's hockey team to be successful, if the recruiting budget is less of that of the men's, if they have ice time that's not conducive to building a competitive team, that's an issue. If the financial aid at the school as a whole is difficult, that's out of the athletic department's hands, but it impacts your ability to bring in players that just can't afford to go to school there. So I caution you on saying Union doesn't care about women's sports in general, but I do ask the questions. Does Union College, the athletic department, give the resources to the women's hockey team to be successful? Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region, where, remember, at Mohawk Honda, they always go out of their way to please you. Over 180 trained automotive experts going above and beyond to make sure all of your needs are met. Being #1 isn't easy, but at Mohawk Honda, they treat their customers with respect, have been doing it for almost 100 years. 4 generations of the Harridan family proudly serving the Capital Region. Capital Region Sports Saturday. We'll see you next week.